Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to the expansion for Trial by Trolley called Travel by Trolley, the vacation expansion. This is a additional extra 200 cards that add your Trial by Trolley game. So two things to mention before we get into what's actually in the set is, first of all, warning for people that might be sensitive to various things. There are some graphic, potentially graphic images or concepts or terms. I mean, the whole idea or concept of the game is the trolley scenario. Basically, you have to pick which track is, your teams are going to decide what's on two tracks and what should or shouldn't get run over by a trolley. That's the concept of the game. So right there, in a sense, if you have an issue of someone saying, oh, maybe we should run over a celebrity or a specific group of people or a type of people, with a train, this probably isn't the game for you. You need to be a little, I'm going to say twisted, at least a little bit, just to be able to, understand some of this. So, there's that. So there might be, I don't think there's any, super graphic-y images, there might be a little bit of blood or guts on something. I don't remember for sure. I'm just doing a quick brief check. I don't say anything like that, but there are some concepts of bad things that could be, I don't know specifically in this, but in the core game they had, maybe mentioned Hitler or pedophiles or something like that. Or again, the idea of you might have to, thinking of a train, might have to run over a group of babies or a grandma. So if that stuff does bother you, offend you, this is not the video for you. Please click off, go watch something else. Maybe go watch one of my Unstable Unicorn videos or a Marvel video. Those are all pretty tame. Then the second thing I want to bring up is everyone always asks, this is an expansion. Do I have to have the base game to play this? Technically, yes. Kind of no. And I'm going to say it like that because there are 200 cards in this set. The base game has 500, so it has over twice as many cards. So not having as many cards in here means that you're going to run out of cards quicker. So could you still play this and just run out of cards quicker or have to reshuffle things more often? Absolutely. But obviously having this added to the base game or having the base game amount gives you so much. If you're going to buy one, only buy one of them, you may as well just pick up the base game and get the 500 cards versus only 200 in here. The other reason why they say it's required is because this does not have any of the other components you can use. This is where it kind of gets that slippery slope, because you could replace it. So, from the base game, you get the track board, you get some death tokens to keep track of who's winning and losing. You get the Trolley Tom token to kind of show the conductor on the board. You don't have to use the board at all. You could use pennies or something to keep track of, or any other type of token to keep track of stuff. You could just lay the cards out in a row. So all them accessories are something that could either be ignored or replaced. So for that reason, you don't really need the core set to have to do it. The other reason, obviously, is the rules. There are no rules in this box to explain how the game is played. So if you just pick this up, unless you've played this with other people and you know how it is, or you want to go online and look up the instructions, you're not going to be able to grab this out of the box and be like, oh, here's a brief introduction on how to play the game. Nope. No rules in the box. So, do you have to own the core set to play this? No, you do not have to. But if you don't know how to play the game, or you don't want to replace some of the components, or you want to run out of cards a lot quicker, then you're going to want the core set. So I would just recommend, if you're going to pick up an expansion for something like this, just definitely get that. Another side note is this other than the Kickstarter expansion, this is the only other expansion currently out. If in the future they release another expansion, so obviously now we have 400 cards, or could you say, what if I bought 2 of these and we just have double the cards that way, because maybe you can find 2 of these for really cheap versus that. Again, if you don't mind having potentially running into the same cards over and over a bunch, you could do that. Again, I just recommend buying the base set. Alright, so that's kind of what I want to pre-heads up. So before we hop into this, I just want to do a quick reminder of how the game is played. in case you haven't watched the first Electric Battle. So we have 3 types of cards. We have our 2 main cards. We have our innocent cards and our guilty cards. You're going to have a team of 3 players. So you take your entire group of people. One person is going to be the conductor. Everyone else splits off into 2 teams. So if you only have 3 people, you have 1 person per team. If you have 6 people, you'll have 1 person as the conductor. You'll have the other team will have 2 people. The other team will have 3. But then every time the game, after each round ends, another person becomes the conductor. The team keeps constantly shifting. So you're not going to always have the same people on every team. And then if you lose the round, whichever team loses or the conductor decides their stuff gets run over because they were bagged, they will get death tokens. So yeah, you're going to play, and then the third type of card are the modifiers, are the white ones. So just as a quick, just brief reminder, everyone draws some cards. 1 player in each team is going to draw 3 innocent cards. Someone else is going to draw 3 guilty cards, and finally a different player is going to draw 3 modifier. If you don't have 3 people on a team, then just however you do it, just between your team, draw them cards. You can share them with each other. You just can't show them to the other team. You could play even more secretive and be like each person on your team can't know what the other cards you have are, but ideally they're supposed to be all together. If you have more than those 3 people, every other person draws 3 extra modifiers, so you have a lot more modifiers. So if you want to play, you have 10 people trying to play the game, and you can have, let's say 11 people, so you have a team of 5, and a conductor. First 3 people would draw cards, and the last 2 people on each of the 5-player teams would draw extra cards. So each team randomly plays an innocent card. So they'll randomly play a yellow of the 3. So they don't know what they're going to get to start off. And then each player chooses an innocent card. And then they just keep playing in order. And then each team chooses a guilty card. So then each player chooses a guilty card, chooses 1 card from hand, and places it on the other team's track. So basically, your innocent ones are ones you're going to be like, hey, don't run them over because these are fun things. These are the good things. These are the babies. These are the grandmas. We don't want to run those over. But then each player is going to get to play a guilty card on the other player, being like, okay, there might be these 2 really nice things you don't want to roll, but is the third thing bad enough to change their mind? And then their goal is to sabotage the other track, convince the conductor that everyone on that track needs to die. So then each team chooses a modifier card. Finally, each player who drew a modifier card plays one of their modifier onto any character on any track. Then discards each one. Word to the wise, these modifier cards can be applied to anything on the track. For example, on a homicidal mime, you can play a modifier on the mime, or you can aim the modifier at the poor victim, or maybe the lady has an 80% chance of being the next Hitler. Who knew? And then each player argues for their lives. Now there's an important part. The conductor needs to make a choice to send the trolley barreling down one of the tracks, murdering everyone and everything on that track. Before the conductor makes a decision, each team should argue their lives depending on it to get to the conductor. Has made up their mind. Throw the lever, everyone choosing on the track dies. Each player whose track was murdered receives a death token, a black mark upon their soul. So if you couldn't argue to save your track, even with the bad stuff, then you get a death token. All players have played during our discard next part of respective deck. Ever runs out, just reshuffle and create a new one. So that's why, again, so Spanish, if you don't have enough, you can reshuffle them. Because eventually you have 500 cards. If you have enough people playing, you might go through them very quick, or if you play long enough. Player left, the conductor becomes a new conductor, redivide up your teams. So they're kind of showing, like, you'll play your innocent card, then a guilty card, and then the modifier can specifically modify this little girl, or it can modify that girl, or you can modify this person or that person. So it's kind of neat. The little arrow is going to point to specifically who they can modify. And if you're only playing with 3 players, or if you're playing with less than 3 players on a team, at the time, like you're playing like a 3-player game, then you only get 1 modify card. But again, if you're playing with more than them 3 players per team, could get 3, could get 4, could get 5 modifier cards, which just makes the game crazier. And you can play them on your track, on your opponent's track. So very interesting. So who wins? The card continues. Every player has a chance to be the conductor until each player has felt the terrible weight of the lever in their hands. After that, player with the fewest death tokens wins. And there's some other variants you can play too. One other thing to note for the arguing part, just as a reminder for how the game can play too, when you're looking at some of the cards to think about is, although you want to argue why yours shouldn't be run over, you could also potentially argue why you think the opponent should be run over. You may agree if you're allowed to do that during a game. If you decide you really don't want, you can't argue against the other players for some reason, might be a rule to state at the beginning of the game. I also think you should be able to just however you want to argue it either direction. Cool. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and then just look at the cards. Now, there's a little bit of text on these, but not a ton. So we're going to go through and look at all the innocent cards first. These are all the nice, fun things that you probably don't want to run over. So up in the top corner, it's going to have a set symbol up, or a set thing. So it's V for vacation, T for track card. This is just to like off the difference of I was trying to grab another, see if I had an expansion one. So like as opposed to like a Kickstarter one's gonna have the KS up at the top, or there was some other ones that had other different symbols up there. Just so you can go ahead and pull out the non-base stuff or the expansion if you'd like. Also, another thing just to remember before you go into these, while you're playing these, like any of these types of games, which is really fun, if there's one of these that, like, someone in your game group really finds upsetting, disturbing, or doesn't like, pull it out of the game. This is a little old Italian grandma who runs an adorable restaurant. For some reason, if someone's like, I'm offended by this, it's probably going to be more of the guilty cards. But if somebody gets really offended by that, or a saying on one of the modifier cards, just pull it out, don't use it. I always employ this rule for Cards Against Humanity. If someone doesn't really like a card, or it's really offensive to them, we just pull it out, we don't use it in the game group anymore. And also with that, if it's maybe something that you referenced. So I know like one of the cards in a base game mentioned Nickelback. Most people know who Nickelback is. But, for example, if one of them said, again, talking about a music band, someone said, oh, the band Wham. How many younger generation or younger people are going to know who the band Wham was? Or David Bowie, maybe. They might not know who that is. So you might just take the cards out if it's something that gets referenced. This could also apply to, like, sports, athletes, actors, actresses, political people especially. It might mention some historical figure, so I don't know who that is. So take it out. So that way someone's not playing it like, oh, I'm playing this because I think this would be a funny joke, because nobody else knows who it is, so they don't get it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to kind of run through these a little bit quicker. Sorry for all the rambling. A lever that if hit will destroy all the GPS satellites in orbit, forcing you to actually know where you're going. So this is innocent. It's not necessarily something it's probably something you wouldn't want to hit, right? That's the idea of the innocent stuff. A cute elderly couple enjoying Florida on vacation. Why are you playing golf next to a railroad track? A tropical family luau. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's a terrible place to build a trolley track. The Eiffel Tower. A cement pipeline will literally fill up the Grand Canyon if hit. Infinite cement. A person you met on a vacation whose friendship will change your life forever. Two kids building a sandcastle. A family dog having the time of its life. A travel agent who will book you on a dream vacation. A flight attendant who is hooking you up with free drinks. Some adorable orphans who won a contest to be here. A walking tour group. And that is where the first trolley was made. The best spa you've ever been to. Newlyweds enjoying their honeymoon. A nice stranger that helped you get their luggage at the airport. A foreign friend that will help you get your dual citizenship in any country. A historical reenactor volunteering to teach kids about local history. Churning butter. All the wine in France. All the tea in China. A family about to surprise their kids with a trip to Disney World. So that's what's fun about this, is there's some, like, You can maybe defend this. Maybe some people maybe want, I don't give a crap about tea, so it'd be harder for you maybe to defend. It's just kind of fun with that. A couple trying to save their marriage with a romantic vacation. 2 tickets in your name for a place you've always wanted to go. Your dog that took a trip to the farm upstate. Oh no, that's sad. Your personal valet who handles all your luggage wherever you go. A famous and humble sushi chef. The entire Las Vegas Strip. So again, this might be something where technically innocent. Somebody might be like, arguing against this and being like, oh, Vegas is a terrible place. It's singing, gambling, and someone like, I like that, A group of kids traveling abroad for the first time. A family of 8 packed into an RV for an epic cross-country adventure. The best family-owned restaurant that you've ever been to. At Buddha's. The historic air marshal who will prevent the next 9/11. A fragile endangered ecosystem of Galapagos Islands. Volunteers building homes for the climate refugees. A climber about to achieve their lifelong dream of climbing Mount Everest. That's a treacherous trolley track. This is the world's best ski instructor and their class of students. All the whiskey in Scotland. A family fleeing the latest international war crime. Honeymooners on a romantic gondola. All the overworked people in your life who need a vacation. Amelia Earhart. I have so much to tell you about the Bermuda Triangle. So this should again be maybe an example of a card. There might be some people who don't know who Amelia Earhart is or wouldn't care that much. You might just take this card out just so it doesn't pop up or someone just has a dead card in their hand. A raft full of refugees. Endangered and beautiful coral reef. 2 diplomats on the verge of bringing peace to the Middle East. Want to come over to my house tomorrow? We have Nintendo. Your best friend ready to take you on an epic road trip. People mourning a national tragedy. The world's biggest rubber band ball. The person who will one day perfect self-driving vehicle technology. A private jet gift you for all your hard work. A crew of a travel TV show all about you. All the pets currently waiting on their people to come home from their vacation. Oh no. Anything with animals is kind of sad. A high school marching band performing a national parade. All the people running at the bulls and the bulls at the running of the bulls. Magical resort that makes all your fantasies real. All the people and the beer at Oktoberfest. A river cruise full of nice old people. A border check that will trigger the World War III if hit by a trolley. Yeah, you probably don't want to run that one over. A cute little bed and breakfast. A plane full of passengers. Sorry. I'll just say that track just like bangs all the way up. A Mardi Gras parade. A place of great religious significance. Oh, there's our Trolley Tom and why can't I think of his name? It's the evil one. It's Sam. But I don't remember what his moniker was. A shockingly affordable vacation home in your favorite destination. Double-decker bus full of tourists. A lost tour bus with your grandparents on it. The entire air traffic control team at a busy airport. The local taxi driver who shows you all the best spots. A group of hardworking moms on their first vacation in years. A beach bartender that treats you like family. A 9-year-old woman about to go skydiving for the first time. And finally, our last innocent card is a team of heroic mountaineers on their way to rescue 30 people trapped in the mountains. So these are all kind of like lots of, this is a vacation set, so there's a lot of stuff that would be like, oh, things you'd see on a vacation, or kind of other random stuff. But this also leads to that thing like I've said a couple of times now. I can see people taking out some stuff. There's like, I don't want to get into the political stuff, so maybe any of the stuff about like the wars or refugee stuff or tragedies, they might just take them out, just not to spark a controversy. Maybe if you're playing with your family versus a group of friends. Interesting. Alright, so then our guilty cards. These are the ones that you want to try and run over or are going to try and provoke people to run them over. The private island for the 1%. No pores allowed. Olympic athletes using steroids to bring glory to the motherland. A bully who kicked over your sandcastle. Is that the same kids from the other one? I am super curious. It is. There's their kids at the sandcastle. That's kind of fun. Alright, then we have an erupting volcano that will kill a whole island unless it's plugged by a passing trolley. So this one, might try and, like, why would you... Do I risk running over the kids in the sandcastle and the Italian grandmother to stop this volcano? Bagpipers playing outside your window at 5 a.m. Rich people taking bulldozer tours of the rainforest. A criminal mastermind about to flee the country. The awful parents of that crying baby from your last flight. The guy who just stole your wallet and passport. The monster who used up all your overhead storage on the last flight. Timeshare employees that won't leave you alone. They're zombies. A serial killer murdering their way around the world. You literally just dragging the body around. A couple having at the very next table is having a very loud argument. The guy who forged vaccine records for sick people to travel. Airport security agent who stole all the underwear out of your luggage. That's creepy. A snooty French person who speaks at you because you couldn't speak perfect French. A businessman who goes to conferences just to cheat on his spouse. People you thought were your friends going on your dream vacation. 2 dudes who are planning to steal your kidney later tonight. A family holding you hostage so that you can take 1,000,000 photos of them. Your horrible concierge who wouldn't let you use the phone or go to the bathroom. Motel 6 is down the road. A kid on his way to carve butts into a 2,000-year-old tree. Horrible tourist who won't stop comparing everything to their better country. Of course, he's American. Guy smuggling massive amounts of dangerous drugs across the border. International fruit smuggler who brings horrible invasive species to fragile ecosystems. Way too many snakes headed towards your plane. Your border official who refused to let you in the country you were visiting. The owner of a discount helicopter tour company that kills at least 10 tourists every year. So here's a question. Does he kill them because he's a terrible helicopter pilot and like they crash the helicopter, or does he get people in cheap and is he a murderer, just in general? Owner of a hostel where your backpackers routinely disappear. Cheap rooms. Airline customer service rep that's been stringing you along for days. Society of wealthy adventurers that hunts poor people around the world. The border patrol officer who takes their job way too serious. Everyone in front of you at the buffet line. A pyromaniac on their way to burn down the Louvre. Extremely shady private zoo owner. Again, it's reference to a TV show. Remember Our Fallen. Any of them were real men, maybe. The guy makes horrible comments at the war memorial. The committee of the airline executives that have conspired to charge you $26 for a bad sandwich. A local who doesn't take kindly to tourists. Now go on, get back to where you're from. All the billionaires launching themselves into space. That's an oddly shaped rocket there. The world's worst man spreader. An invasive species of ducks that will destroy our ecosystem. It's a flamethrower. A disrespectful tourist at the national park. Everyone on the subway after 2 a.m. The world's meanest camel. Just spit on the baby. A man on his way to sabotage a popular roller coaster. The billionaire that wants to invent space travel so he can bone aliens. Oh, it's a wacky waving inflatable flailing arm tube man. Terrible youth pastor who goes on mission trips just to make fun of poor kids. A crew of pirates on the way to plunder and sink a cruise ship. A person replaces all your favorite theme park rides with virtual experiences. It's like I'm really there. Soldiers on the way to put landmines all over your favorite vacation spot. A prankster about to fill your airplane with bees. A mean park ranger that wants all the bears to starve. Oh, it's Yogi and Boo Boo. Conspiracy nut job that delayed your flight. Birds aren't even real. The immortal vampires behind the British crown. The meat puppet. Do you get the joke? Revenge Eternal. The person who designed airplane bathrooms. The iceberg about to sink the Titanic. Terrible couple that stole your spot at the pool. Most obnoxious glamper. I just love the wilderness. Man selling his own homemade suntan lotion. A DJ about to start a rave for the entire duration of your relaxing vacation. Your boss calling from a tropical vacation to micromanage you. And finally, a corrupt CEO of a rideshare app. He just dressed you up as horses. That's funny. Alright, so that was all our guilty cards. So the things you want to try and get your people to run over. Then we have the modifiers. So we just got a blank one here. So that's kind of fun. You want to make up your own. Those are always kind of cool. We got a couple of those. Looks like we got 3 of those. Then we have kick back to your seat the entire flight here. So what is fun about these is just again to point this out. So if you have a team of mountain bikers, you can be like, specifically this guy in the red. So now you're gonna be like, oh, although they're doing good, that guy was enough of a dick that I might want to take him out. So that's kind of fun there. Just pooped in the hotel pool. Ew. Refuses to cancel their cruise tickets even though they have COVID. Just bought tickets for you and them to follow your favorite band on a world tour. So now this is a neat thing with the modifiers because they could be positive ones. So again, you could have the corrupt CEO of a rideshare app who just bought tickets for you and them to follow your favorite band on a world tour. Oh, okay. So he's corrupt, but he bought me tickets to my favorite band. So it's kind of a neat idea. The modifiers work both ways. If you hit them, you'll get unlimited air travel for life. If you hit them, you'll be banned from flying for life. If you hit them, you'll get free cruise ship tickets for life. Their death will start a chain of events that will lead to the destruction of Disney World. Is leaving to go on their dream vacation tomorrow. If you hit them, you'll be forced to go on the run and never return home. If you hit them, you'll inherit a massive timeshare debt. Abandoned you in a foreign country without your passport last year. Always asking you to bail them out of foreign jails. Steals money from the poor people to finance their world travels. Owns a private island where they hunt people for sport. Stands still in the middle of a moving walkway at airports. Pretends to have their accent after traveling. Oh, monsieur. Is royalty from faraway land, and you will reward them if you save them. Open the smeller's container of food on your trolley yesterday. Refuses to try local food, says McDonald's is better. I might not disagree with them. Finds a reason to complain about every place you want to go. Got you lost for 3 days on your last road trip. Lost you millions by convincing you to invest in Beach Balls Unlimited. Just emptied your RV's septic tank onto a baby bunny. Oh, that's mean. Travel the world to seduce tourists into cheating on their partners. Every boat they travel on sinks. Will one day make commercial space travel affordable for everyone. If you hit them, you'll be cursed to live out of a suitcase for the rest of your days. He's about to take you on the best spring break ever. If you hit them, science will discover a cure for all diseases in their blood. We're going an international crime spree will disguise to look exactly like you. Is your partner on an amazing race? If you hit them, you'll lose. So again, this might be someone like, what's Amazing Race? They might not know what the show is. So you might just take that one out too. Like, otherwise the card's sitting in their hand and they're like, I get it's a show, but they don't get the reference. Will one day save your life when you are lost in the wilderness. If you hit them, you'll never be able to use a rideshare service again. Run to charity that pays for poor kids to travel around the world. They're the reason you don't make enough money to travel anymore, said my boss. If you hit them, you'll be full cavity search every time you go to an airport. Is holding their adorable emotional support puppy right now. Will one day prevent a passenger plane from crashing. Works for a TSA and steal something out of your luggage every time you travel. If you hit them, you'll always have the middle seat between two gassy bodybuilders. Will one day kill your family in a tragic boogie boarding accident. Will convert lots of people to their flat earth bullshit if you let them live. Will act as your tour guide on your next vacation. So, like this one here, this could be a good or a bad thing, right? Oh, I know that this person might be very knowledgeable. They're this, that. Or it might be, oh, this is one of the children. Do I really want one of the children building a sandcastle to be my tour guide? It depends on who plays it and who spins it right. Is on their way to infect you with all the exact diseases they picked up on their last trip. If you hit them, you'll be cursed to suffer terrible jet lag for the rest of your life. If you hit them, you'll be cursed with terrible motion sickness when you're in a vehicle. Is on their way to flee the country and become a better person. Is a foreign monarch in disguise. Their death will start a bloody war for the throne. So again, it's going to be like an interesting one where someone have to really argue. You'd be like, why do I care what happens in another country versus running over my grandma, right? Can get you cast on one of those tropical reality dating shows. Travels to disaster zones to provide humanitarian aid. Holds a concert every year to raise money for refugees. Will one day open your super successful theme park based on your life. Leaving on a trip tomorrow to hunt and eat all the penguins at the South Pole. Laughed at you when you asked for someone for directions 1 hour ago. Bought a week-old tuna and sauerkraut sandwich to eat on your flight. Every time you run into them, are you running them every time you travel? What are the odds? If you hit them, you'll lose all memories of everywhere you've ever traveled. Just bought your favorite travel destination is going to ruin it. Spreads invasive species all around the world as a hobby. Is going to put your bomb on your next flight. Travels around the world hunting endangered species. Will gift you a month-long stay at the most expensive resort in Dubai if you spare them. They're the reason you're going to miss your next flight. And finally, wants to take you on a romantic tropical vacation. So yeah, lots of fun, interesting stuff in this expansion. Obviously, it's a travel-themed expansion, so lots of travel-themed references and talking about stuff like airport and this. So if you're someone that doesn't ever travel or has never traveled, doesn't have an interest in traveling, some of the cards might not seem as important to you. Like, oh, I'm going to get jet lag or I'm going to get stuck when I don't travel. So that, to me personally, that doesn't affect me, right? So you might be like, those cards might not. I would say, but so how should you add this game in to do I think you should pick this up? If you have the original and you really like playing it a bunch, more cards are always great, more extras. Then how should you add it into your set? I would say the initial time, maybe just play it. You could maybe just play it just by itself. I would even say is maybe take like the top maybe quarter of the other deck, shuffle it into this, so that then maybe you're not only getting just travel stuff, you're getting a couple of the old ones. But if you played the original a ton, especially if you bought like the extra expansion, you know, the Kickstarter stuff, and you played a lot of it, you might just want 100% fresh cards. There's nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, I'd say maybe the first time, yeah, shuffle maybe like this into a quarter of each deck, like take a quarter off of all the other decks, shuffle these in there. So you're gonna keep drawing mostly these, but you're gonna get a couple of the other ones to offset them a little bit, because then you might get, you know, again, let's say Nickelback, mixed with like a beach vacation thing, or if I just randomly grab like 2 or 3 cards out here, you could get your grandparents or a high school graduating class. And you get some other things that might be kind of fun to interact with them, and then eventually you could just shuffle all of them together. So definitely a lot of stuff in there. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you haven't checked out the original for some reason, or the Kickstarter, or exclusive other bonuses, check out those videos as well. I'll try and remember to link them in the description below so you can quick check them. Otherwise, look for the playlist. Just because, if you like this, you like that, you might want to try and find the extra stuff as well. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.